Hi, welcome back to Junk from the Trunk. Here is the long anticipated video on the American Basketball Association. I've had a fascination with the league ever since I was a little kid. Even though I live in the Northwest, and by the way, that's why I'm wearing this shirt, hoping to bring the Mariners a little bit of good luck. I know it's going to take kind of a monumental effort, but it's been a while since we've been this close to reaching the playoffs, so fingers crossed, right? See what happens to him today. Why are you wearing a uniform from the 70s then? Because that's what I have. Because I like the Trident style M. You know, yeah, they weren't very good then. They haven't been very good lately, but fingers crossed. Maybe, they catch lightning in a bottle today and get lucky and get into a play-in of a play-in. We'll see. Anyhow, at least they've been entertaining to watch this year. Back to the American Basketball Association. So when I was a little kid, I got a birthday gift of a rubber, not a leather, but a rubber red, white, and blue ball with the ABA logo on it. And so they weren't on TV a lot in those days, at all, I don't think, especially out here. So everything I learned through my dad's magazines, because my dad subscribed. He got the Sporting News, and he got Sports Illustrated, that kind of stuff. So I think maybe that's where I'll start with this. It's something that's left over from my dad's collection, and it's in pretty rough shape, but one of the few things I held on to. And it's because it's pretty cool, because it's got Dr. J on the cover. This is an old Sporting News. He's actually with the Nets here, but the picture depicts him, of course, playing for the Virginia Squires. Dr. J, Julius Erving. So one of the things that I held on to, a lot of it, unfortunately, has gotten away from me. So there's a Sporting News copy. The league started in 1967. It was born out of the success of the American Football League. There wasn't a lot of NBA teams, and so the notion was, hey, if a second football league can be successful, how about basketball? Didn't really work out that way. After 9 seasons and a lot of franchises coming and going, the league folded up shop. It's not considered a merger, but 4 teams were accepted as expansion teams in the league, being, of course, the San Antonio Spurs, the then New York Nets, the Indiana Pacers, and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets had been the Rockets, but in anticipating this merger, they had changed the name 2 years before from Rockets to Nuggets. Kentucky Colonels were a very successful franchise, but their owner, John Y. Brown, accepted a buyout and then used that money to buy the Buffalo Braves. And then somehow he traded the Buffalo Braves, who were now the LA Clippers, by way of San Diego. A lot of movement in basketball, and traded for the Boston Celtics. So it worked out for him. I know the Silna brothers, who own the Spirits of St. Louis, got their money through making polyester suits. They're still getting rich today by the deal they made. They teach us in business school. They finagled somehow. They get 1/7 of the TV money every year. Wow, I mean, good into perpetuity, as they say. Anyhow, that's a brief little history of the league itself. My fascination started with a birthday gift I got. This is a poster I got from my brother and sister-in-law for my birthday a few years ago. And they're like, hey, why don't you take some of your cards and kind of put it around? So I did. So here you got Dr. J's rookie card from 72-73 Topps. That's the All-Star card. Doug Moe, who went on to be a pretty good coach. He was banned from the NBA for point shaving scandal in college a lot of these kids got caught up into it. They had nothing really to do with it, but they got swept up. It's a whole thing. You have to read about it. The same thing happened to Connie Hawkins, who played in the ABA. George Karl, who later coached the Seattle Supersonics back in the 90s. Rick Barry, although he jumped back to the NBA at this point, and he was with the Golden State Warriors again. But in the 71-72 season, he had played with the Nets, and he was an All-Star. Larry Brown, I think he's the only coach to have won NCAA, NBA. I don't think he won an ABA title as a coach, or even as a player. No, he did win one as a player. He did. He was playing for the Oakland Oaks when they won a championship. So he might be the only person to have an NCAA championship, an NBA championship, and an ABA championship, or a very short list of people. Charlie Scott, just one of my favorite players. I remember him when he played with the Boston Celtics. I know he played with the Phoenix Suns as well. In the ABA, he played with the Squires. And Willie Wise, who was one of the truly great players of the league. By the time he came into the NBA, he was older and his skills were diminished. But if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be. Anyhow, so that poster I have. Here's something kind of interesting. This is the New Orleans Buccaneers. It's a coin. And they gave this thing out, and you could get like free ice cream afterwards. So it's just a little piece of something I have. The Buccaneers played in the first championship. They lost to the Pittsburgh Pipers, which was Connie Hawkins' team. This team had Doug Moe and Larry Brown on it. Austin Red Robbins, I think, was on this team too. So there were some good players. Kind of hard to see. I'm trying to get a good reflection in the light of what it is. But so you could trade this in and get some ice cream after the game. But they moved to Memphis. And then from Memphis, they had a couple names. They were the Pros. They were few names. They were the Pros, the Tams, when Charlie O'Finley owned them, and then the Sounds. And then, of course, they moved to Baltimore, became the Claws. Played 2 exhibition games and folded in that final season. Ironically, there was a encyclopedia cards that came out in the 70s, and there's a George McGinnis card with some information about George McGinnis. And the picture in it is of him playing in an exhibition game against the Baltimore Claws, right? Because the ABA and NBA played exhibition games. And speaking of that, I didn't take these down, and they're not in holders. They're tacked up on the wall. I know this is dumb. Sorry, guys. But these were giveaways. That first one is James Jones. That's a Utah Stars giveaway. It's laminated. So you got that at a game. The other one is Dan Issel. And the funny thing about that, he's with the Colonels there, of course, not the Nuggets. He started with the Colonels. And the exhibition game is being played. It's a game from Freedom Hall in Kentucky, but they used to play part of the game at NBA rules, part by ABA rules. So they're using a brown ball, so obviously this is a NBA rules game because they're playing probably the Washington Bullets, because that's Elvin Hayes. I don't think he ever played for the Baltimore Bullets, and that's Phil Chenier in the picture too. So that's kind of cool. There's a couple other things that I have. Okay, we're back. Sorry, but I didn't take them down because I'm a collector. Like I said, I'm not an investor. Oh, you shouldn't put pinholes and you should have them in a poster. But I know. But they're mine. So just do what I want. Now, back in the 90s, online, I got to know a guy that used to be the trainer for the Kentucky Colonels. His name was Lloyd Pinky Gardner. And he co-wrote a book with Gary West about the history of the Kentucky Colonels. This is a very good book. Lots of good information. He had some really great stories to tell. There's a good documentary, too, about the ABA called HBO made it. It's Long Shots, The Life and Times of the ABA. I'm trying to show pictures here, but I'm not very good at it. Sorry. And then, of course, there's a book Terry Pluto wrote, which I have 3 copies of, but I couldn't find any of them, Loose Balls. And what it is, it's anecdotes. It's the whole book. It tells the history of the ABA, but it's short stories that people, players, announcers, fans, coaches, owners tell throughout. It starts at the beginning to the end. It's just anecdotes, the whole history of the league. It's terrific. Terry Pluto book, Loose Balls, highly recommended. If you're an ABA fan, you know about it. So anyhow, Lloyd Pinky Gardner. And so I got a few things from him. So I'll start with this first thing, and this has got a few pieces. Bert Everett, who played later in the NBA with Buffalo, the Braves, and then of course they moved to San Diego and then Los Angeles. But so they had a Bird Watchers Society for Bert Everett. There's the pin. Here's the card showing official membership. You got a small picture of him as well. So if you came here looking to see uniforms and stuff like that, I'm not that big a collector, guys. I just have some anecdotal stuff. And here's the official bird whistle, which works. He sent me a pocket schedule from their championship season, which is pretty cool. Unfolded, of course. And then a letter on official Colonel's letterhead about being an official member of the Bert Everett Bird Watchers Society, which is pretty cool. I've also, over the years, throughout thrift stores, you find weird stuff. So I picked up some game programs. Not a lot, but I've got a few. This is a Kentucky Colonels program. I think it's from 75, 76, I think. Some of the cool advertising. There was Burger Queen, right? Not Burger King and not Dairy Queen, but Burger Queen, apparently in the Louisville area. And it's somebody took the coupon for the Coke, but there was a poster included with Dan Issel going up against what looks like Wayne Hightower, I think. Probably the Carolina Cougars. So that may not be... Oh, it's 72-73, because there's the schedule. So I was going to say, if the Carolina Cougars still existed, it was not the final season. So, got this program. Got another program. This is a game that they played, the New York Nets played against the Pittsburgh Condors. See if I can find it. And on the cover, that's Bill Bonehead Milchione, I think. He was the point guard for the team. There it is. That's just an insert. So somebody kept part of the stats in this thing. A game between the Pittsburgh Condors and the New York Nets. Thought that was kind of cool. It's an Indiana Pacers program with James Silas. So obviously they were playing the San Antonio Spurs. And it was kind of, I'm not good at this flipping through these books, guys. Sorry. Ooh, Billy Knight. He was one of my favorite players. And when I first started collecting cards back in the 70s. In the NBA, of course. Austin Red Robins. This is Utah Stars against the Virginia Squires. I got a lot of Virginia Squire stuff for some reason. Check out that. Ooh, check out that bank. Utah Stars bank. You buy a leather ball for $3.99. Wouldn't that be cool to have a leather ball? Some other stuff I got from Lloyd Pinky Gardner. I've not opened these. These are still in the plastic. These are some plastic cups denoting the 74-75 championship for the Kentucky Colonels, and they're still in the plastic. And this is this is not my childhood ball because I lost it, but this is the example of the childhood ball, but this is autographed by Louis Dampier and Dan Issel. Pinky Gardner sent that to me. That's pretty cool. And those children's balls, right? See if I played basketball in high school. Not very well, of course, as you can see. I can't even spin a ball on my finger anymore. Anyhow, ABA ball. It's fantastic. Got a couple yearbooks. Here we've got a Virginia Squires yearbook. I got a fascination with the Virginia book. They're spanking the rest of the league. So you got, the coach. It's got like the team stuff. It's the Pittsburgh Condors. The then Texas Chaparrals before they moved to San Antonio. New York Nets, Memphis Pros, Kentucky Colonels, Indiana Pacers, Denver Rockets, Miami Floridians. The Floridians had those famous ball girls, right? In the bikinis. Carolina Cougars. Just some stuff. And then there's, facts, stats, some weird pictures. Also got the Washington Caps. Now, Rick Barry's on the cover of this. He started out he jumped from Golden State to Oakland of the ABA, hoping the team would stay there. They won a championship. He got hurt without him, right? Team moved to DC, so he went with them. That's Al Bianchi, who later coached the Seattle Supersonics. I think that's Warren Armstrong, who also was Warren Jabali, later considered one of the toughest guys in the league. Got in a lot of fights. Anyhow, same kind of stuff with this kind of book. The Caps moved to Virginia, became the Squires. When they moved, Rick Barry famously was on a Sports Illustrated cover saying, I ain't going to play in Virginia. In a Squires uniform, talking about he wouldn't play in Virginia. So they traded him to the Nets. Roy Bowe picked him up for a song. Anyhow, I've got this pocket guide from the last season with Artist Gilmore on the cover. Pretty cool. It's just a little pocket stat book, guys. There's not anything special in here. Last but not least, posters. Or pennants. Okay? Pennants I have. Now this one's really flimsy and it's badly stained because it had water damage, but this is a Pittsburgh Condors pennant. Very cool. John Brisker later played with the Seattle Supersonics, was in the ABA, played for the Pittsburgh Condors, fight a minute guy. Nobody ever knew what happened to him. Turned out he got probably killed in Uganda, fighting for Idi Amin or fighting against Idi Amin. I don't know. Anyhow, that's the story about John Brisker. Got the old Virginia Squires. The Squires. Like I said, I love Dr. J. Love David Thompson, too. I had a Nuggets pennant at one time. I gave some of my stuff to my nephew, and I think that Nuggets pennant ended up in that. This is something else I got from Pinky Gardner. Kentucky Colonels, autographed by Dan Issel and Louis Dampier. And then last but not least, last thing from my collection, Utah Stars. Utah Stars, Zelmo Beatty, Willie Wise. Anyhow, that's it. A little brief history of the ABA, my small ABA collection. I've got more cards, too, but you guys don't want to see all the cards. They're all in sets, I don't have all the sets. I'd like to get a 71-72 set, and I don't have the 72-73 complete, but 73, 74 through 75, 76 of those 3 seasons I've got complete. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.